She got closer to the summit than most people ever will, but she never made it back. In 1998, Francys Arsentiev set out to achieve something extraordinary, to become the first American woman to summit Everest without supplemental oxygen. It was a dangerous goal. Even the strongest climbers in the world rely on oxygen at extreme altitudes, but Francys was determined. She wasn't alone. Her husband, Sergei Arsentiev, an experienced Russian climber, was by her side. Together, they had trained, prepared, and dreamed of this moment for years. Everest wasn't just a challenge for them, it was a shared mission. After weeks of climbing, they finally made their summit push. The conditions were brutal, but they kept going. Higher and higher they climbed, pushing their bodies to the absolute limit. Without supplemental oxygen, every step was slower, every breath heavier. But they did it. Francys reached the summit. It should have been the greatest moment of her life. But on Everest, the summit is only halfway, and the descent is where most tragedies happen. On the way down, everything began to fall apart. Francys was completely exhausted. Without oxygen, her body had nothing left to give. She became disoriented and weak, unable to move properly. Sergei tried to help her, staying by her side as long as he could. At some point, they became separated. Sergei made the dangerous decision to descend quickly, hoping to get oxygen and return to save her. It was a desperate move, but it was her only chance. He never made it back. Sergei fell to his death while descending, leaving Francys alone high on the mountain. The next day, other climbers began to find her. She was still alive. Barely conscious, severely frostbitten, and unable to move, Francys lay exposed to the freezing winds of the death zone. Climbers who passed by were faced with an impossible situation. At that altitude, saving someone in her condition would require enormous effort and could easily cost more lives. Some tried to help. They gave her oxygen, spoke to her, tried to encourage her to move, but it quickly became clear she could not descend. And on Everest, if you cannot move, you cannot survive. One by one, climbers were forced to continue their descent, leaving her behind. It was a decision that haunted many of them for the rest of their lives. Francys Arsentiev died on the mountain. Her body remained there for years, visible to climbers passing along the route. Because of her peaceful appearance, she became known as Sleeping Beauty. It was a haunting nickname for a tragic story, one that many in the climbing community found deeply disturbing. Years later, in 2007, a group of climbers led by Ian Woodall carried out a mission known as the Tao of Everest. Their goal was not to reach the summit, but to bring dignity to those who had died on the mountain. They located Francys's body and moved it out of sight, giving her a more respectful resting place. The story of Francys Arsentiev is one of ambition, love, and heartbreaking loss. It also raises difficult questions. How far should someone go to achieve a dream? And what happens when that dream pushes beyond the limits of survival? On Everest, the line between courage and risk is razor thin. Francys reached the top of the world without oxygen, something very few people in history have done. But the mountain doesn't measure success the way we do, because in the end, reaching the summit means nothing if you can't come back down.